Welcome to day 1 of our coverage of Shady Part of Me, a puzzle adventure game, I think, by a studio from France called 12 This is one of those games that throws you into the introduction right from the start when you first boot up without any kind of title screen. So just to give you a sense of the prologue in its entirety, we'll actually just do a quick restart just to show you the title card and start with the music from scratch. But from there, we will get going, and we'll see what this is all about. So we're just in Chapter 1. We'll just do the chapter select, and all you've missed so far is this. So here's Shady Part of Me, beginning with the prologue, Session numéro 1, The Swing. It's instructing me to use the stick, but of course the D-pad works just as well. We'll see what's more comfortable. See you soon. Now here's a bench. It doesn't quite work the way it does in Hollow Knight, but I love the little tap 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 when you kind of skirt on top of the back. I liked it better when I was on the swing. Unfortunately, you have a limited jump height and you cannot actually go back upon leaving. Now you are all alone. Now let's see what the circle is all about. Looks like the circle just unfolds and we are given 98 puzzle pieces to collect. These are climbable surfaces. I like how it instructs it by just showing you that you cannot actually make this jump. Interestingly enough, you can climb directly down from the top of the surface. It seems like so far we are regretting all of our life choices. Can I make this jump? Yes, I can. Try with no one to push me. Well, no one's pushing me. Spikes look deadly. Let's not test that out. I was here again and again. You look like you can go up, but I want to check down. I don't know if the order here is going to matter. I feel like this is going to be the main segment, probably. We should check up first, just to see. One thing I don't know yet about this game is whether there is any fall damage. And I tried again. Okay, it looks like this is actually the way you're supposed to go. But going down, well, we'll see, is probably just a failure condition. Many attempts. Okay, we should not fool around with the spikes. We can, however, go down. No fall damage, okay. Good to know. All of this so far. And I like how it's just sort of loops through this text and you try it again and again. Really love the presentation of text so far, actually. 2 out of 98, I suppose that the serif typeface, where it says try over there and many attempts over here, that may be the puzzle pieces so far, but anyway, typographic storytelling. No, welcome, Meng. This is one of those games that I'm actually tempted to play in a second language at some point already. It is from a French studio. I was thinking originally that maybe I'd just do the first playthrough with French text, but for the purposes of the stream, we'll just do it in English for the time being. Now, this teaches you that you can always hold rewind by showing you that there is an optional location marked by the bird down below that is now unreachable. So, I don't know how far the rewind is going to go, but it seems like the idea is to take this, but if you reverse, does it reverse the collection? Yes, it does. So that's important. You can't just cheese something by reversing out of it afterwards. Maybe they were right. Oh, love how we have this conversion from the 2D wall to a 3D space. Once we fall on the floor, that is, and follow the shadows. So yeah, it's kind of neat that you still have 2D platforming here that is just projected onto a 3D surface, and you have that perpendicular change in surface, which we're just going to continue exploring this way as we skip around what looks like a bedroom. And we'll reveal some new territory here. Fear pushed you forward. I actually wonder if this is timed. Ah, it looks like it's probably timed. Let's not mess with that. And down we go. This looks curious, down to the left. Nope. Didn't think so. Okay. And we'll just rewind out of the depth, because this is actually kind of taking after Prince of Persia Sands of Time, actually. That's what I kind of associate with this sort of rewind mechanic when it comes to some kind of slight puzzle platforming. I wonder if I can jump during the climb. Let's see if we can maybe speed through this a bit. Or just climb faster in general. That would help too. Definitely a bit of forward pressure here. And fear of us. Let's jump. That's going to be a miss. I didn't think I would be able to make that. And here is the title card. Session numéro 2, In the Shadows. Okay, so now we are in the non-shadow world. I'm trying to think about how to describe this.
When I wake up, something is missing, and something is new.
Okay. Let's just call this the corporeal form then. We had a long dream. We kind of collapsed here into the bedroom that I thought we skirted outside earlier. Interestingly enough, this is a 3D space. A D-pad is still just fine, though. You want to flip-flop your way around? Non-shadow world sounds good to you? Yeah, I suppose so. Door is closed and remains closed. Rewind also works here, as you can see. So nothing has changed with the core mechanic in terms of getting yourself out of some kind of blocking situation. Ah, I see that you cannot actually proceed into the unshaded area until you have revealed this. And we should know that already. It was, of course, a little bit stricter in 2D space in terms of whether you could proceed to the next area. Now, this is interesting. You cannot go into the light. And that's pretty much entirely what this is here to show you.
Back then, I had to hide in the shadows.
So, this looks like, well, a place with many beds, which often implies something like, I mean, it's not a hospital or something, but more like an orphanage, or you sleep well, and lots of empty beds. I'm not going to talk over the narration too much, although everything is subtitled here.
The light was dangerous.
You had a great dream in the shadows where I was safe. Can I manipulate light? No, I can't, because it's a pool of light and I can't actually approach the lamp. So yeah, this is a character who prefers the dark. And here we are again. Another crane that unfolds into a puzzle piece. However, it looks like we're forced to rewind because of the way that everything is revealed by light. And so if you get caught by light, I guess that's a fail condition in the 3D space. In 3D world, shall we say. Okay, so look how I actually had a bit of a safety zone through that little slice of shadow that was right there. Still afraid of the light. Looks like it opens up a couple of times. Where am I? Interestingly enough, though, you have to be in the light in order to cast a shadow and presumably play in the shadow world. So yeah, I like how the rule set has been established so far. And yeah, we have a bit of an explorable space here with a fixed camera. And it says wait because this is going to be something timed. Now notice the crane that's over there. Always what? Always stubborn. Yeah, just tells you that if you try to push against a boundary. And we sped right past the waiting challenge. Safe and unsafe. Very clear. Always distracted, absent-minded, inattentive. I want to screenshot this. This feels like it could come in handy. The door is closed. But yeah, very interesting narrative device so far. I like what's going on with the typography in general. It has a whole variety of typefaces here that really do a lot to kind of set the tone, set some priorities in terms of what the player will notice. And something's going to say hi to us. And yeah, we can access a couple of those areas ahead. We'll do that before proceeding, probably. Happy books with pretty pictures. Nope, we should have gone down here. No, too slow. Let's wait for the next cycle. Then we can tuck ourselves in here. And now I know there was something back there. They will talk, they will say, they will see. You will try. And look at that, there's this swing that's in the back. Seems to be some kind of recurring motif that is of some psychiatric significance. It is too bright outside.
Don't be sad, statue man.
Don't be sad, statue man. Okay, we could reveal the next area, but I know I missed something earlier. There was a spot I didn't check to the right that had the previous iteration of the robot figure, or whatever this squarish fellow turns out to be. And yeah, can't really see ahead here, but we know where we came from. Let's see.
You want to play?
Sad books with no pictures. She never wants to play. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to play either if I were reading sad books with no pictures. Okay. Pretty easygoing rewind mechanic so far. Nothing much else to say about it. I guess it would partly be to prevent some impossible positions in some later logic puzzles, perhaps. But I don't know that yet. We haven't really seen much object manipulation, but very often that's what a rewind mechanic is going to be for. Always a little bit concerned when puzzles are designed, though, with rewind in mind.
I'm sad too. All on my own.
Anyway, we're gonna carve our way through this library. All these busts over here reminds me of the library in Trinity College, Dublin, I want to say. And a lot of other grand historical university libraries as well, but that one specifically.
They were probably judging all the time.
Okay, it looks like there is a crane beckoning us down there. That seems like it's a branching route, so let's go over there just to see what's up with that. Probably judging. Oh, look at that. It flips all the way around, too. There's a little speedrun tactic for you. Also, how can I see with all that hair over my face? I guess there's something we don't want to reveal about the face just yet, or perhaps just blocking out the light.
How innocent. Naive. Limited.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to recognize these people, but I don't.
Stubborn.
A very stony face, though, in a very literal sense.
And very, 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 very alone.
Okay, so we need to press X to switch characters now. This is going to be interesting. There she is. There's my shadow. But then I need to be in the light to cast a shadow, though. And if I'm in the light... Oh, I see. Because previously I was under pools of light where I was not able to see my shadow because of that. So I'm more comfortable in the light, I guess, or... Oh, I'm separate from the shadow anyway, so never mind that. I still can't enter the light if I'm not mistaken, but we'll see. Anyway, my shadow is waiting very patiently, so let's just look around in the meantime and see what this is all about. Ah, okay, so I can hit switches. I still can't cross the light myself, but the idea should be that I can create a passage for both characters by using them cooperatively.
Who are you?
Now, is this switch reversible? Can I flip it both ways? Yes, I can. It feels like that's going to be important later. I think we will try something with that after the fact. Now, of course, the shadow is not allowed to leave the light, because otherwise you just no longer operate as a shadow, so... And the shadow knows.
I'm the one looking for the exit.
Now, is there a reason why I might want to reverse this? Doesn't look like it so far. But I kind of wonder. Alright, we'll just learn the mechanic here. Who are you? And then we'll make it past everything we can. And okay, thought I was about to bake myself in the light for a moment, but thank you. Thankfully that was not the case. Let's actually check over here first just to see if there's anything I can do. Yeah, so I actually can reveal both zones first before I proceed, I think. Oh, except being in the shadow here isn't actually getting me anything. So why don't I reveal... Okay, I guess that was sort of the intended course of things. That's... I was supposed to just flip the switch twice. Don't know if there's anything else going on. It seems like we aren't really constrained in terms of the distance between the two controllable parts of oneself. So let's just scout ahead here, see what this switch does. Oh, notice the thorns as well. That's an interesting way to still enforce the fail condition on the shadow world in the way that was introduced much earlier. Now, we did see that there was this crane over here. Okay. Also notice that there are switches that are operable as before in both the shadow world and the corporeal non-shadow world. Probably because if the switch operates the same mechanism, then I can use that to raise and lower my shadow self. And I suspect that will actually be what is going on here, given that if I hit this, I will be able to proceed here in the corporeal world over to the next place, but what will not happen is... Oh, okay, maybe I can't actually flip that yet. Let's... Or can I? No, can't touch that. Okay, looks like I will have to get my shadow across somehow, but before we do that, let's just reveal... Ah, I see. I need to be standing on both of the circles in order to reveal the next area, so... Let's see once again if I can operate the switch. It didn't seem like I can press it from behind over here. So why don't we hit this again? Just to see what's going on. Guide you, it says. Oh, because I can just cross... Yeah, same idea as before, actually. The shadow is going to do all these switch operations over here. You have to watch the visual indication of which one I'm controlling. There's a bit of a subtle shift in the color palette when you do that. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, because sometimes I can't quite tell at a glance who I'm controlling if I'm switching rapidly. Where did she go? Can I switch to her? Yes, I can. Great, because we can just continue traversing this, where the block person here, the cylinder head person, is still reading the sad books with no pictures.
I might be able to get out this time.
So are you trying to untrap your shadow? Is that the idea? Something very, very, very alone.
As long as I follow, maybe I'll be okay.
As long as I follow, maybe I'll be okay. Okay, so here is the end segment over here. Let's see if we head down and can proceed by ourselves. Now, looks like there is maybe something timed over here, yeah. But there is shadow where the next puzzle piece is, so... Anyway, it's been a long time since you had a friend. I suppose the chirpy voice is supposed to be my corporeal self here. But... yeah, often we can just watch the objects and that will give me a sense of where the shadows are going to lie. Is this Shadow the Hedgehog? Not enough guns, I think, for this to qualify as Shadow the Hedgehog. What's this saying? Guide her, lead her. Well, but who's leading who right now? Okay, I can't get over the thorns because they are in the light. Oh, it looks like my shadow actually kind of moved. It's a little bit whippy over here. Taking her time to...
Hey, follow me.
say, hey, follow me. Alright, let's continue revealing this. This library makes you wonder how everything got stacked this high to begin with. Oh, got some timed lighting over here. And some timed quasi-platforming. Okay, notice the crane over there. Just kind of wonder how I can drop towards it safely. Not really clear to me right now, but it could be that it is a shadow that is cast by a piece that I can collect from up here if I go behind a desk. Kind of suspect that's the case. Oh no, maybe not. But there is a switch that I can press, and that could potentially reveal something.
Come on.
Oh, whoops. Never mind. Hang on, let's just time this so I can switch characters very quickly and just get her out. There we go. Caught me slightly off guard when that happened, so... Okay. Say, I don't quite know how the rewind mechanic kind of fits in thematically so far. I think it is just more of a little soft convenience to get people to not worry too much about resets or checkpoints, which is fine, given the nature of this game. You're doing great. Alert, attentive, you might get out. Not with our kind of distractibility, you don't. Okay, notice that the light is going to eradicate the platforms that the shadow is standing on. Let's maybe head up ahead to see the lighting pattern first. So the lighting pattern is going to cause problems for both of you. Also, because the puzzle piece is permanently under the pool of light, it looks like I will need to collect it some other way. Unless, of course, I just stand in the shadow somehow and then have the piece slide over me. I think that's probably the way to do it, in fact, if we find a pathway. Right now, though, it looks like the only thing I can do is probably wait for the shadow to have an opportunity to follow this and hit the switch. And then, okay, that is going to be safe, in fact. No need to double back like this just yet. Didn't quite pay attention to what that was doing to the main section. Ah, yes, okay, now it gives me a passage. So, same idea as what we were considering over here. We stand in the shadow. And then together, we will succeed. I do want to check in this little area as well. Not that we see any kind of visual indication of something to collect here, but always worth checking these things. Actually, it seems like it's fairly clear so far in terms of the puzzle piece locations. Nothing has been concealed so far. Alright, on we go. I wonder if these are multiple characters of the same species or build or whatever. Pretty books with marvelous stories.
Come on, you can do it.
Okay, so it looks like it's more timed platforming in the Shadow World. And also something interactive. Do not confuse books with reality. When have we ever been at risk of doing that? Okay, it looks like we could probably, well, we can't take this any further, but we can use this to eventually cast more shadows, is what I'm guessing. And that's going to be part of what makes the platforming here work. Right now I don't see how this is useful, but I'm sure that maybe something will reveal itself once we've proceeded a little further. Pretty books with anything but Marvel cinematic stories, apparently. Hey, nope, let's wait. Don't follow blindly. We followed blindly. Love how that was just set up precisely to catch the player like that. In dreams, sky is the limit. I still don't know what the block is for apart from just telling you how to use blocks. I think that's all it's doing as the first pushable block of the game. Yeah, because you can see that there's nothing that is interacting with in the shadow world just yet. I'm sure that's going to change very soon, though. Given that, I guess the purpose of manipulating objects in this game would be something like that as a central mechanic. Okay, so if I'm correct, I should be able to jump ahead and fall past those thorns onto the next railing. Yes, because that's just how gravity works. And you can curve all the way down here to see what... Oh, you can actually wrap around, and I guess we'll have to join her at the lift. So, I don't care, I want to have fun. Very good philosophy for getting through childhood, at least. Anyway. Yeah, it seems like my shadow is always just kind of lonely and weepy every time we leave her.
Just a bit more.
Oh, very frustrating that you can't hit the bell, but that's what the shadow's for, apparently. The shadow knows. Okay, I actually cannot switch from the shadow right now. Oh! All I'm doing is just moving her into position. Guess they're just explaining something to each other. So yeah, this bit's not interactive right here. I'm just acting out of desperation, apparently. And down we go. Well, that's a Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator moment right there. Anyway. Let's see if there's anything to the left.
Hello, Teddy.
Hello, Teddy. Teddy is not giving me a puzzle piece, so... Never mind a Teddy. Not our friend. Is this place really what it seems? I'm guessing the answer is no. Anyway, here's part 4 of Fantasy.
Hello, train.
This is a nice little nursery, actually. Okay, so my position controls the train's position, which is interesting because it means we can probably board the train. And by boarding the train, I can do things like this. And not go any further because now I'm just on a signpost. But eventually... Oh, the train is actually going to wind and around these blocks that say rail. I'm guessing that as part of the artwork, the rail here doesn't actually get localized. So, notice the presence of the puzzle piece over there. I would need to get around the train, though. And we'll see if there's a way that I can actually head on the outside of the train. Wrap around it somehow. Probably at the end of the terminus over here. We'll have to wrap around this way. And then it'll follow me over. Great. Great. Friend? Well, this guy gave me a puzzle piece, so yeah, he's our friend. We have a very well-developed ethical system for these kinds of determinations. Okay, so the train has stopped and the train is in our way, so...
Hang in there, Moon.
Hang in there, Moon. So yeah, I guess we have to move the train further. We have a block that can be moved. Now, I'm guessing... Oh, the train just goes forward without me. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, you can see we can manipulate the shadow here now. And by doing that, we can presumably reach this guy, remember? No, I don't really remember now. Okay, here's more of these guys. I don't really know what to call them. This guy's like a tea kettle. A tea kettle playing with a dinosaur and what looks like a robot? Or can't quite tell what the creature on the right is. It might be an elephant or something? Maybe it's an elephant. A dinosaur and an elephant controlled by a teapot. That's really how I wish my childhood went. So yeah, the shading, when you change between the two characters in terms of the colors that they're associated with, actually does change slightly. So now we have this shift between a kind of a bluish tint and a purplish tint. But as part of what sets the mood for each of these rooms, I think that the color scheme actually does undergo a bit of alteration. Let's not pull too far, of course.
Come on, climb on.
Okay, this is fairly simple. No real surprises here. As long as we make the jump, of course. You do, in fact, get a little bit of mid-air adjustment. Not much, but just enough to make everything safe. And let's scan the area. Nothing much going on. Kind of wonder if I push this all the way in again, whether we're going to reveal anything. Seems not. So yeah, we're going through this section and kind of feel like I might have missed some puzzle pieces, given that we haven't really expanded the collection. 16. It would seem kind of odd to have a zone that has nothing. But we'll worry about that later. There is, of course, the chapter select screen, which I think tells you where things are missing. Has this place changed? Nothing's changed. It's pretty much as you remember, except just notice the scale here, though, where I'm tiny and all these props are massive. We're very much miniaturized here. Now, interestingly enough, you have blocks that can now go along 2 axes, which is going to be important, I'm sure. Because it means that we can create platforms like this. And yeah, notice a puzzle piece coming right up. Feel a bit dependent, yeah. That's just how things are going to go. So the idea here now is to move on top of this block and then tug it all the way to the right. Yeah, and there's a moon. Lovely moon. Really enjoying the storybook feel to this musical score so far, too. Okay. Looks like... Oh, I was about to say, looks like they release as soon as you jump, but no, they're just timed. So we'll just keep that in mind, that they are basically the equivalent of donut blocks. Except these children, or this child, was never really fed donuts. And so... not like the donut blocks in Mario are made out of very many donuts either. Look at the cloud up top. The cloud up top looks like it might be significant. You fixed this yourself. Look at this patch. That's actually really quite delightful. Yeah, just going to scan around here. Why not? In case I can go behind. Nope, seems not. Anyway, more cloud platforming.
Mister? Ma'am? My lord's short
Which one is my Lord Short Arms? Oh, it's got to be the Tyrannosaur for sure. The Tyrannosaur can't drink his tea with his little arms. And that's why they went extinct. Okay, let's head up here. And before we do anything, let's just run around a turtle. Okay. Can't jump, unfortunately, so we'll be obstructed by the turtle. And let's hit the exit point. No, bad idea. Not even going to wait to see that. Let's get the block out of the way first. Yeah, so the way we'll do this, I don't think I can make that jump back up. I need to unstack the top first. Possibly I need to jump... Well, let me think about this. I don't think I can make the full jump up from the cloud. I highly doubt it, in fact, so yeah, that's going to drop you on top of a spike. But what happens if I push onto the shadow while... no, I think I'd probably just get squished, right? Nope, that's just a squish death. It doesn't actually protect you with a shadow. It's just making sense of the physics here. Let's just think about this. Ah, okay, that's actually fairly clear. Looks like we'll need to go rather quickly, though. Because I doubt that everything will refresh in time. Nope. Was hoping to jump and then pull and then... you know what? No. I just need to start from the left side. Let's be sensible about this. Reveal everything. Follow, gentle, nice, and don't get sliced and diced. Yeah, that's a star. Here in the storybook room. Anyway, seems to be the end of the road there with that little crescent, except something's going to follow me and rotate as I move. Yeah, sometimes these mechanics don't really get announced until you run into the relevant area, but looks like I can just transport myself cooperatively to the end without much fuss. Just looking carefully to see if we missed anything. And that's right. Man, you can also have a star. Points for participation. Let's scroll this back just in case it reveals anything interesting. Nope, guess not. Alright, on we go. And that's going to be an ending where we get to fly an airplane. Pretty light, so far away. We totally get to fly an airplane, excellent. Like the foreshadowing there. This can't be real. Okay, so that's how you achieve lift. If you achieve lift, you can jump over to something that's going to be set up on my side next. Using this block. It's a flashlight that's going to change where the shadow is cast. Okay. Not like that. We don't. Let's raise this first. And then we can manipulate the shadow a little further. Notice the puzzle piece up top. Yeah, because if we have it too magnified, then we can't actually make it across, but... nope. Let's stand a little aside here. I totally did see where something was obtainable. And so I am going to head over here and then reveal it by pulling everything back. Whoops. There we go. Notice how, yeah, I could kind of come out the lip of the shadow right here where it starts fading, but then jump back up like a semi-solid. Was there anything on the extreme right side of that? No, just more spikes. Okay. Let's move on. Anyway, here's a playing card. Not really going to get away with something like this storybook without some motifs from Alice in Wonderland. And so there we have it. Looks like it's just a series of playing card platforms. I don't see anything that I can manipulate from this side just yet. Apart from seeing these two play cards, so let's just do the platforming. And yeah, fairly gentle here. Assuming I didn't miss any puzzle pieces, and I don't think I did. Your world feels treacherous. Okay, cloud platforming. Let's scout ahead so I know what I'm dealing with. Everything can go up and up, but then... yeah, cute bridges that you build yourself. Yeah, you see there is going to be a puzzle piece that is reachable over there. Given a reset point, I don't need to worry too much about our ability to reach it. If I fail, I can just do a quick rewind. Here's unsteady. Whoops. I said do a quick rewind. Easier than... whoa, okay, it spawned on top of me. Hang on. Problem with rewinding to mid-air is that it actually cuts your momentum. So... just have to be careful with that. That if you rewind into a mid-air position, you can't necessarily count on that conserving everything about your positional information earlier. And I can walk on these pencils, flip some more cards, come over here to see what's up. Ah, okay. Harder than imagined. Cute brambles, I cut them myself. Well, this is very much a world of my own making, as far as I can tell. It's an artifact of memory. Very expressionistic, in a way. Okay, so we do need to raise this eventually in order to get the puzzle piece. But the way I'll do it is by standing in this position first until we have a chance to do some of this. Also by manipulating that block eventually. Let's actually see what the position's going to be here. Let's watch this. Ah, okay, so yeah, now it's in the middle position. We can actually just stand on top of this one. And then move it, perhaps. No, you know what? I can just jump directly. No, I can't. No, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, actually, the card's totally going to crush me if I stand here, so... Yeah. Playing card is going to have none of it. However, if I push this over on this end... Let's just plan this out. You know what? I can get on top of the playing card, and it will lift me, and I can fall through the hole. I can't fall through the hole, but that's okay, because what's going to happen is I can manipulate the block slightly by just one position. Give myself something to fall on. And everything should work just fine, yeah. Improvised. Not really, that was entirely planned. However, I will need to get all the way over on top of that block. In order to pass, I think. But let's take a look here and see. Yeah, I do want to get on top of the block. I have to guess at my position slightly here, but I think this should be accurate. Okay, wonderful. Okay, it's a house of cards. Mind the train because it's going to knock over the house of cards. Just watch. I wonder if it is actually, or if it's going to cast a shadow. Okay. Yeah, I manipulate the train, but there's nothing else I can do. I think I do have to knock over the house of cards, and it will look spectacular. Good work, corporeal self. You've ruined everything. But you'll build it again. Just scouting ahead, and again. Okay, don't see anything optional over here, so let's just jump. Pretty simple, this part. You. Okay, looks like we have more airplanes. The airplanes are going to carry climbable surfaces, which is interesting. On a loop, too. And on a loop, that is going to cast a shadow for me to walk across. And we can tuck ourselves into these positions over here, if necessary. I don't see what that does for me yet, apart from just giving me a moment to rest and assess our position. Look at the puzzle piece that is on the lower level. I think the way to do it is just to drop from the netting to the lower area and jump back up and catch the netting again on the other side, so let's just do it. Yeah, once again, nothing like a jump button here, so we'll just totally miss. Perceived persistence, not really, we're just rewinding for the most part. If at first you don't succeed, rewind apparently. Be kind. Going to check the other side of the shadow over here, that looks like it's something. Nope, there's nothing. Flip, flip, flip. Oh. Hang on.
This is my playground.
Going to check this, of
Why
course.
do you want to play with me?
Listen, try harder. Such a try-hard, apparently. Okay, no sign of anything optional over here, at least not yet, so... let's just do some single platforming one by one. Look at this atom over here. Okay, playing cards go up. I actually kind of wonder if the playing cards will go back down. No, they won't. I actually wonder if the playing cards reveal anything. Let's go back and check. Probably not, by the looks of it, but yeah, given that they were quite far out of position in the first place. Never mind then, let's head to the double exit point as before. This really does look like a bit of a psychiatrist's office, doesn't it? With the recliner. And who knows? Okay. On we go. I imagine I could improvise. I imagine that quite often, yes. Anyway, going to reveal the next section with 23 pieces in tow. Okay, this switch surely does something. The switch illuminates part of the level that allows me to go forward, as they say. This guy's still doing nothing. Yeah, this is just a very quick tutorial section for lamplight control, by the looks of it. Still following. Yeah, I'm guessing that if you're standing on the pool and you get caught in shadow, you probably just die in the same way as if my 3D self gets caught in the light. You see, now I know what this reminds me of. It actually reminds me of A Link Between Worlds. I was kind of wondering why some of these ideas with that being projected on the wall seem so familiar. So this guy's running around. He doesn't really do anything if you run into him. At least not yet. Block here is going to need to get out of the way. Interestingly enough, we can move it into the slot as well. If we move it into the slot, however, what happens? It doesn't do much for me yet, but eventually we'll be illuminating that section, I'm guessing, and that will allow me to move something across, so let's keep that in mind. Let's also check inside. Nothing. Can I operate the lights? Not from here. Well, let's see what this is going to be about. Because I need some way to manipulate that. I have an airplane that is going to move forward to this section, so yeah, let's resolve this first. Ah, here's the switch, actually. I'm guessing that it is just a question of this landing on top of the switch, except that's thorny, so what happens instead is that I hit the switch when this is covered. But in order to do that, I have to give myself some way to get up there first. And so the way to do that would be to, first of all, just totally get this out of the way, because then that means I can walk across and probably make some kind of jump, but not past the brambles, I don't. Yeah, you can't just jump directly across. Looks like that is obstructed. And yeah, this is going to be too large in its current configuration. No, it's not, because it's not actually obstructed. It's, in fact, totally illuminated as part of the wall. It is only when you pull it out slightly that the logic is of casting the shadow. You try to follow, not to rush her. I guess the shadow text is just what the shadow person is thinking. Shadow's just trying to exit. Shadow is also taking the lead right now, rather than just doing all this stuff, observing step by step, all that. Okay, what's up now? Let's take a look. I'm going to reveal more playing cards. Seems like we haven't seen some optional pieces in a while, so... Oh, interesting, that I am revealing a bit of a change in the area. Yeah, I can't move forward yet, but I now must lead once we have some additional illumination there, so... It looks like reality is changing before my eyes as I restore this playing card dream world into something a little more familiar. But that eventually I'll probably just get lights on in this entire room, and it's going to allow my shadow to proceed. Oh, you know what? My shadow just decided to transport up here. Okay, that's fine. Where did everything go? My playing card reality. No, it's been lost. However, if I go backwards, and does anything get revealed? Nope, it just remains as is, actually. You just magically transported ahead, and you're gated off by the light. Let's scout ahead.
We could leave if you don't like it here.
Could we really? Where did everything go? Nothing has really changed. Only your perception. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, formerly... Oh, look at this. This seems like it's some kind of teaching area, almost. Everybody's sitting around in a therapeutic circle. Okay, pressing the switch raises some of the blocks in that pattern. I don't know if this block is movable on top of the switch. Yes, it is, of course. But why would I want to do that? Why wouldn't I just want to press this directly myself? Just need to find the exit. The exit's going to be past this administrative station here. So what was the point of this block then, if nothing much is happening with it? Oh, I see. So yeah, the point of the block is that otherwise the light does prevent me from proceeding here. So let's do that and actually get myself across. Past this bored-looking administrator.
Do you know where the exit is?
I think I do.
Okay, so chirpy voice is my 3D self, right? And mature voice is my shadowy self. That's how I'm understanding this. This way. Okay. Yeah, let's move this around, see what we can do. Very clearly labeled exit. Chirpy voice is your burb voice. Yeah, I suppose it is. Naturally, I'm checking this location up here. That looks awfully suspicious. That exit sign. What does this do? Just opens a gate, okay. Totally is something. Except I can't reach it from here because of the obstruction, so let's rethink this for just a moment here. Yeah, I forgot that I could, in fact, pull this back a little further. But then we need to change positions with this in order to reveal that location in the light. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed some pieces like that that are out of the way already. This idea. Let's maybe not do that. Right, open the gates. And I'm able to pass through here inside the pipe. That's interesting. Even though it's not what I would think of as a very well-lit location. It does take us to the end after we have a chance, of course, to explore everything else here. Where did she go? I mean, I know exactly where she went. Doesn't seem to reveal anything, though. You know, if this were Super Metroid, this is where you drop a bomb and open up the rest of the game. However, it is not. This method... That's a method, alright. Okay, 25 pieces going into this section here. Let's, whoops, not jump ahead just yet. I feel like if I get off the switch, then I follow the platform in real time once I switch back. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe I need to press this switch twice. No, maybe I need to move the switch to the other location. Yeah, that's correct.
The exit should be around here.
Well, all the exit signs are indicating something of the sort. Can I stand on this? It is a panel, it makes sounds, it doesn't do anything else.
Just around that corner. I'm pretty sure the exit is this way.
Okay.
It's kind of nice how everything is so carefully labeled.
Well, the exit's labeled, the number 4 is labeled. Look at this guy sitting upside down.
What?
Oh, I can knock on a door. Once. And whoever is in there just ignores me. That's actually the first sign of another speaking character in this little drama of ours. This switch creates some obstructions. I kind of want to see if there's something down there first, before we proceed, just to be absolutely sure. In fact, let's just check here. Nope. Okay. Alright, just need to estimate our jumping distances accurately.
There you go.
Very helpful of you, Shadow Self. Okay, the switch opens the gate as well as obstructs the light. We'll eventually do that to get across. However, before we do that, I have to create a pathway for the shadow, and so... looks like the way we'll do it is by putting that there, is jumping on this, and then creating that sequence of platforms to traverse. Just scouting ahead. As the shadow breaks for the exit. Exit sign up top totally looks suspicious, but we'll deal with that as the time comes. B Minutes, welcome. Hope you've been doing well. Now let's see here. We're going
Sorry
to.
there's less to see here. It's better with my friends.
Are your friends gone?
Let's just reveal more of the story.
They don't like it here.
Alright, there totally has to be something around here, right? Except I can't jump in this side. Really does look like there will be something if we traverse carefully, but in the meantime, let's just proceed. Yeah, nothing here. Let's just move on. I always get a little bit suspicious when we have a section with no puzzle piece. Am I a friend as well? They ask each other. Yeah, you may as well be. Allies of convenience. B Minutes, you start teaching in 1 week. Well, I'm thinking about the time of year. Oh, in August, okay. Yeah, I guess with a lot of teaching schedules having been changed around, moved by pandemic, that it's not as unusual as it seems, but can't remember what it is you teach. I know you said that you had some kind of background in theater or something to that effect. Whoops, okay, that allows me to go all the way down. That could be interesting, actually. Let's come down here. But anyway, good luck with that, with all the planning, and yeah, I guess you would have that week of advanced preparation. Just getting back in the institution. Now, if I actually tug this, does the other side of the switch become accessible here? No, it doesn't, but it allows me to walk around here and probably push the crate. And if I push the crate, not much useful happens yet. Okay, no, I did actually want the crate on the other side. Let's, no, let's not crush myself here. Yeah, I was just trying to take note of whether that would do anything. This whole push is going on down to the lower level. Guess not, so. Actually, is this pushable through any other axes or just left and right? Ah, I think if I lower this, now I'm able to get across this way. Am I able to hit the switch? No. One moment here, let's see what's going on. Not paying nearly enough attention. I think I actually need a centerpiece. Yeah, I do need a centerpiece because when I raise the switch, it's going to push me up and give me enough height to jump over to the right side. You're going to teach middle school English and drama, but you've literally never done it before. Yeah. Well, I do hope you enjoy it. Seems like it's a challenge, for sure. I mean, you know, I think the thing that I would dread in your position would be having to deal with the occasional student who really doesn't want to be there, but then I think everybody that you kind of introduce to pleasures of literature and drama who hadn't really considered it previously and discover some kind of new calling in life, like every one of those students makes it worthwhile. I think it's true of every discipline like that, like you. Just kind of have to deal with some people who don't really cooperate, but the reward is very much in the people who actually discover a passion. I noticed this feeling so vividly, so deeply. It runs within and overflows without me being able to stop it. A memory. Oh, nope.
Hey,
Rewind. I want to go forward and I want to jump over. There we go. Mind the gap. Otherwise, you'll never transfer to the central line. You're not as worried about that scenario as worried about not knowing what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. One challenge at a time.
hey, say, am I a friend as well?
Yeah, we're all friends here.
You're my best friend.
Only friend. Okay, let's get to the exit. Check behind the door. Probably nothing so trivial as checking behind the door, but you know, always worth a look. Okay, going to have some illumination here. Same idea as before. Step on a switch, go up the steps. And then figure out how to lower... Oh, whoops. Let's not do that. Figure out how to lower that platform eventually. I really should have thought ahead to how this illumination was, whoops, going to happen. Yeah, I accidentally switched over. Let's jump to the right side first. We'll just rewind it if things don't go as planned. Okay, that's right in the safety zone right there. But the idea is that I can probably kind of create a halfway platform like this. And then jump over. There we go.
Come in.
And yeah, here's another door to knock on. Thank you for the cheers, B-Minutes. And yeah, Mang, I'm perfectly aware that Shadow the Hedgehog is your best friend. Now let's get over here and... Sure, let's just check this. So yeah, B-Minutes, what do you have lined up in terms of the syllabus, or are you thinking about that in the preparatory week? Would be kind of interesting. I have no memory of what I read in middle school, or rather, I have no memory of what I read for school in middle school. I remember what I was reading at a time that was kind of my own volition. And okay, let's check around this area here. Oh, okay. The whole wall just crumbles. That's fine. Created some space almost. That's going to be a moral victory. If I manage to just remove some obstructions. Interestingly enough, I think that we are able to rotate the block all the way around and partly obstruct the light. No, it doesn't actually. Try harder. When I see the monospace font, of course, I start thinking that maybe I missed a piece. Follow. Me, way, the idea, the method. I feel like that's supposed to say the way. Yeah, it says the way. I just... Oh, I see. Okay. I feel like this consensus of teamwork here is going to fall apart at some point. Then, you know, we're not really going to be as cooperative as it looks. jump ahead slightly, but doesn't really do anything, so let's just enter door number 8. Yeah, it definitely looks like the puzzle pieces have been slowing to a trickle lately, so... Okay, here's another one here, puzzle piece to the right side. Let's just scout ahead and see what is in store. It looks like we'll have some kind of dragging pattern here. Yeah, you need to load the character on top of that platform to begin with, of course, by doing that partial shadow, I think. And if you just kind of stay in the middle section, eventually I'd actually be able to position all the way up top. That doesn't get very far, though, from what I can see here. Maybe the camera position will change a bit once I actually get on top, so... Let's do that to start. And just keep that other puzzle piece in mind for the time being. Nope. Hang on. Do need to shrink a bit by pushing in. That's okay, that can be done. So I'm partially in shadow. But if I move this way, then I can grab that. Go on. Totally looks like this is some kind of child psychiatrist or something, and we're just reliving our therapy. Definitely a very medicalized location with all these wheelchairs and everything else going on. Notice the next puzzle piece underneath this segment here. We'll have to figure out how to get that. Those platforms are doing nothing for me so far, but eventually the block will be able to manipulate that somehow, so... And also, I'm unable to get onto the switch once the light is down, so what's going to happen is I can move down here. And then we'll just map this out quickly. Yeah, and that allows me to fall into that location. So the way we'll do it is like this, where I move the shadow over to the right side first. No, I can't, because the block does need to be on the switch. And in any case, I needed to extend this first, so I can actually get the shadow to safety. And currently I can't actually push the block here until I jump to the other side. Okay, so now I need to do this without crossing the shadow with the block. Nope, let's not flip that yet. Looks like I'll probably get pushed if I do that, so let's see. I can't really jump onto that location just yet. I also can't really do a half-ton movement. No, I can't. I can't just switch and jump, unfortunately. It doesn't let you switch that quickly. It does let me... Nope, it doesn't give me much room either. However, doing this does allow me to push slightly over. and perhaps slightly over beyond that, which will then allow me to get into this location here. And unfortunately, this activation isn't going to get me quite far enough, given that the blocks are not raised. But let's think about whether I can get on some kind of safe position. I feel like there's going to be some kind of transitional time here where, as the block is going up, I drop down into the lower position. No real time for me to work with here, however. When the block is this large, I am still able to move it. Whoops, let's not hit my head. That was very close. Oh, and I put myself in the light, so never mind. I need to get out when I do that. And yeah, okay, no, that's the issue, is that I still need the switch to be pressed. Which means that I would actually need to get on top of this location here. Okay, so it remains pressed, the light remains off. And then we grab this. And then what we do now is I need to change the height of everything once again too. Just get around the block. We can probably beat this by going faster. Yeah, there we go. And then that's just the standard pathway out of here. I need to switch fairly quickly, I think. There we go. Now let's see what else is going on here, whether there's anything behind all these hospital beds. It's clearly in a hospital now with all these curtains. And okay. Now, let's see here. Okay, it looks like we have some orderlies moving some cargo back there. That's going to be important eventually, I'm sure, but for the time being, that's just part of the background art while we do our best. Really do want to check this area. Almost there. Well, I haven't escaped just yet. It actually just makes me think of how many short animated films I've seen that involve bizarre hospital escapes as their scenario. I feel like I've seen many of them. It's actually a fairly common theme. It's a way to do a relatable kind of horror scenario in some ways where you feel like the world is not really within your control. Okay, there is going to be light over there eventually. I think the idea is that you light that up and... Okay, that's not what it illuminates. Kind of wonder what it does illuminate. Not really sure what this switch is doing for me right now, but the exit is near, says the shadow. Ah, okay, no, there's two switches, and if you put both blocks down, then you should get a lot of illumination in the center. Okay, that's fine. What that means is that I will occasionally have to press one of the switches while the other one is depressed. So now the switch is depressed, and so is the character. Let's lights off, then yeah, it's just that little pool there. However, I do need to get the block to the left side, and so what I do now is I move this. No, I don't. One moment here. If I move this to the left side, it doesn't quite illuminate what I want. Now look at this solitary chamber that's on the other side there. Yeah, you see all these chairs that are here together, and poor little chair in a corner, all alone. Alright, so if we step away from the light for a moment,
Just a bit more.
either of these blocks on the right side are going to push her, and so the idea is that I need to get her in the pool of light. And then move blocks across to the other side, so let's think about how to do that. Also seems that, yeah, eventually, of course, the platform height is going to matter for some reason. Let's just push back for the time being. The illumination is not going to do anything for me here. It is just going to push way back. Yeah, I just need to get her over. So let's... I think one thing that we should keep in mind is that I can actually overlap both blocks. And if I do so, then the other one can cease to be an obstruction. And so that's how we would do the block transfer. Like that. So now I can hit this. And then now, well, I can't switch that off just yet, but what I can do is just push this to the center, then hit this switch, then move across. Alright. Just checking to make sure we're not missing things like puzzle piece locations. I kind of get the sense that if I had the opportunity to jump on top of those platforms, maybe something would happen, but I don't see a way to move either of them to a height that is jumpable, so let's proceed for the time being. Alone. Okay, next segment. Well, very conspicuous switch, just in a pool of light. This looks manipulable. Oh, I see, because I can just block the light by standing in front of it. Okay, that's important, because that means that if I put a block there, then I can access the other switch. This block is running away from me, but I can drag it back, probably, if I
Wait!
strategize somehow. He does seem to have a bit of a minimum location here. Oh look, it's a swing, except now it's a swing in the 3D part of the world. Let me just make sure that I have checked whether or not I can proceed in this shaded world. Alright, I guess we have nothing to do but chase this guy.
Come on, get down!
And they're going to take over the swings.
I need this, please.
And yeah, we need this. So, too bad for these guys. However, they did take over the swing, which is kind of unfortunate. Looks like a dead end here, though, so we'll probably have some other transformation of the world to open the way ahead once we get everything in position.
Come on!
We'll reveal some other path. Come on, the exit is right here. Oh. Boss time. Okay, that's not what I expected the switch to do, but clearly another path had to open up, so we'll just flop our way down. It's going to be a long way down. Good thing we don't suffer fall damage in this game. Oh, will you look at that, dream within a dream. Well, that was a long dream. Let's see if we can get out of our padded cell. Lost my friend to shadow once again. You know, all this trouble to make sure I can't just bang my head against the walls, and you have this table that has sharp corners. Feels like whoever designed this chamber didn't quite think through all these safety considerations. Anyway, shadow's right there. Kind of wonder if I could just switch to the shadow from this side. I totally could.
Are you alright?
Not really. I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway, let's match up with the shadow. And yeah, we've been introduced to the lamp mechanic previously, so... Yeah, look how the eye, like this little oculus here, just sort of opens up when you walk in front of it in the shade. I guess that's because that's also averse to light. And the eyes open in the darkness. This little aperture. From Aperture Science. More of an aperture seance, I guess.
Oh, because of me?
No, we fell because the 3D one decided to hit that switch. Totally not your fault, Shadow. Yeah, just looking for the exit, aren't we all? Can I make that jump? Well, I guess we'll have to find out.
Are you going to stay silent?
Guess we've lost our means of communication. Okay, we're going to raise that. That will allow me to hit the upper level, which looks like it's going to be the idea here. I kind of wonder if there's any reason to go down, though. Probably not. I mean, you can just walk directly across to get over to the Oculus. Yeah, it looks like you would have to get on top of that platform from the right side, though. No, nothing over here. But we'll release first of all, just to lower that tea tray. Like a tea tray in the sky.
It's not your fault.
That totally is a psychiatrist. Trying to convince me it's not my fault. We are not fooled for a second.
What did I do?
We take full responsibility. We're dropping ourselves into pits of nothingness, both metaphorical and real.
No, it's fine. Let's go this way.
Alright, let's go this way. A bit of a thorny problem over here. Yeah, it's not my fault. They told me they fixed a hyperdrive. Alright. Thorns are going to cycle around. Let's get back up here. Optional puzzle piece up ahead, as you can see. Looks like we will need to reorient some of these. platforms in order to do that, unless we, of course, we just go up directly. No, seems like we're not going to make it. Yes, we are. Did you do something? Yes, I did. No regrets about that. Okay, so we actually can see thorns because they're created by these tea trays that have cutlery on them. So the thorns are actually just stuff on your plate, probably. That's what happens when you forget to do the dishes. You destroy your shadow, apparently. Now look at all those little rippling circles over there. I look inside this feeling so slowly, so carefully. It refuses to be explained and refuses to go away. My failure. Alright, let's move on. And what do we have here? It looks like we have another pool of lights with sad teapot. Just kind of hanging around over there.
Know where to go.
Do I know where to go? Well, we'll find out.
I don't recognize this place. Everything looks different.
What do we do when the lights go dark? Where do we go when the shadows grow? How do we wake up from the bad dreams? Why do we stay here when we could just leave? Because we haven't solved all the puzzles yet. But that will come. With time, persistence, and just a dash of cleverness. And occasionally some resets. Oh hey, look at that, we're going on a boat trip. So, go to take my little paper boat. I'm totally not going to catch that paper boat, am I? Looks like we... Oh, whoops. Controlling the wrong half here. Okay, I can only control the shadow right now, and it is just a bit of time platforming while my 3D self steers the boat by herself. Yahoo! Harder? Is it really? Love the music in this segment. In this game in general, but this segment especially is this vocal interlude. Okay, that's going to lower. Obviously, we're going to check the left side. Just to see. Nope, can't really tug the camera, unfortunately. However, once I undock, we'll see if my 3D self has much freedom of movement. And my 3D self totally does have freedom of movement, so we'll just check some new places. Look at all the dead fish. Alright, not very encouraging, but let's move on. Look at that little curtsy that my shadow just did. Very elegant. Very mannered. Okay, this switch does what? It raises that, so it means that eventually we'll need to push this further. And raise this. And then we'll get on top of the eye in just a moment once I... Oh, I actually should have stayed on to obstruct this further, except... Can I manipulate this here? Doesn't seem so. Yeah, I can't quite do enough to sustain my position there just yet, so... Feels like the idea should be that I move this all the way across. The only reason I was unable to was because I was stepping into the light, so we obstruct that. Don't need to obstruct with myself, just doing it with the box will be fine. Also think I should be checking this area in the back here. Let's do that quickly. Okay, so the light does not completely shut off there, but we'll close that off. Yeah, I can't actually get around here yet. And I don't see how else to do it. Given that it's entirely just based on this blockage here. Yeah, I can't really get on the other side. Alright, that's fine. We'll forget about that. Doesn't seem like there's anything there anyway, so...
Did you expect us to come here? Are we lost?
No, we're not.
Totally not lost. We know this place. Look at all these tubes here. Look very much like Super Mario pipes. I expect that piranha plant to just come crawling out and ambushing us at any given moment. You know what? I don't know. Yeah, maybe the kid has trust issues with
I don't
not
have
being
to
listened
help
to.
you, but I do it anyway.
Oh, don't be a brat. Let's, okay, walk around and see if we see anything else here. Yeah, nothing else to do here. This is just really just a transitional story segment by the looks of it, unless I missed something big that is optional. But it doesn't look like we have much freedom to traverse. Okay, here's another great eye.
You know what you're doing.
Alright, blocking this piece creates some shadows that allow me to proceed. And then I can move the box. Now the box is not going to pass the bridge. Let me just jump out for a whoops. Just jump out for a second. Okay, the box keeps me in shadow, which is great. However, I do need a box in position in order to make that jump. So let's push the box back. Pull the box back. In that position over here, we can hide behind a box, of course, to make our way steadily across. I thought we could hide behind a box, but I didn't really read the angle of the light correctly. Felt like, yeah, I should be able to safely remain in shadow. The box needs to be one spot further. And then we can jump like this.
Do you know where you're going?
Same idea. I do need to guess a little bit as to the position of the box, except of course we can see how the shadows kind of interact with the shadows of the Mario pipes that are being raised and lowered here, so... Yeah, we don't need to push all the way across. What we'll do is just a partial push.
Are you simply taking me wherever?
No, I know what I'm doing.
No, we're just taking you from one puzzle to the next. It's very simple. Once again, just going to stand behind this shadow over here. Whoops. Shadow is being cast this way. Do need to watch the light source from time to time, which is why I'm glad there is that easy reset in this game for these minor perceptual issues. I feel like we must have missed something here. There's too much going on here to be lacking in optional content, but let's move on and see if anything changes. Okay, 32 out of 98. Now let's see about this. Looks like I will probably not make that jump. I doubt it anyway. Well, we can try. Yeah, we can, okay. And then I can just coast across like this. Till there's some reason not to. Yeah, this little segment here is going to be significant, perhaps. Let's just scout ahead a little bit, see what else we can work with. Maybe some other platform that we can drag into position. Ah, no, this is just a magnification if we look at this properly. Ah, no, never mind. Yeah, because that just shrinks it. Okay. That's fine, let's just take this as a quick little reset point. And then rethink this. Yeah, we will eventually need some illumination here in order to get across. I just don't think I can really ask this guy. We'll just have to go ahead and see if maybe there was something that I missed, a switch or something else. Yeah, possibly some kind of switch press, or maybe some uncertainty about whether things qualify as shadow here. Let's move on over here, possibly pushing all this across will reveal something interesting. I know this is just where I came in. Really does seem like there might be something on the upper level, but right now it's unclear to me, so. Yeah, a bit of a hard wall there. Well, let's see what I can do with manipulating any of this stuff. No, can't just... oh, you know what? This is just a surface. And then we can just move across like that. Okay, great. Good way of teaching that concept, in fact. Considering how elementary it seems, given the tall block pushing interaction that we saw earlier that sort of introduced the idea of it remaining illuminated, I would have expected that kind of thing to happen much earlier in this game, in fact. Using the box's surface to support my companion. Okay, next section. Alright, we shrink the box, we eventually block off the eye once again, once we have had the opportunity to raise this. Okay, so it looks like when this is blocked, that's what lowers and raises that platform. I don't know if I'm able to get over this myself in terms of the middle slot. Let's see, I don't think so. I am obstructed. Does mean that we'll have something kind of timed here. No, let's not do it that way. Actually, if I just waited slightly, I'd be able to do it.
Failure is fine.
Not if you want to beat the game, it isn't. Okay, so now we obstruct this. And then we move on.
You have no idea where you're going, do you?
Yeah, it looks like your shadow is just voicing all kinds of self-doubt. All kinds of negativity. Okay, let's be mindful of the timed segment over here. It's going to affect both the 3D and the 2D world here. I'm just going to keep an eye out for more puzzle pieces in the interim. Whoops. don't really see anything. I want to succeed so surely, so willingly. It denies me my victories and leaves me with nothing. My dream.
You won't find the exit if you don't face your fears.
Well, as long as facing one's fears doesn't involve running headfirst into spikes. Let's see here. Face your fears, it says in the back. Do I really have to face my fears? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What are you afraid of? Oh wow, that's a rather dramatic transport tube. It does not allow me to go back both ways. Also notice that the implication here is that you step into this mouth.
It seems you're afraid of light. What does it mean to you? Have you tried walking in the sun? Isn't a fireplace soothing? Don't you need a nightlight to guide you in your dreams?
Yeah, it seems like the kind of quest that we're eventually going to be completing is a sort of reunification of the self, where you eventually regain the ability to stand the light which has been cast off in your shadow self. I think that's what's going on. Oh, we're unable to switch back to the shadow now. We are a little bit trapped in pipeline over here. And yeah, these totally were pipes. Very deep in World 7 of Mario 3 here.
I don't want to. I want to go home.
And okay.
I miss my books. I miss my friends.
Friends?
I think the psychiatrist knows that we don't actually have very many friends. Just a shadow. And the books. And a night light to guide you. A fire to warm you. Oh, let's read the rest of this. No, that's it. Big pit down below. Strong implication that the shadow is just going to have to jump down at some point. But we do see the exit to this Your story segment coming right up after we have a chance to look around. Okay, up we go. And the sun to wake you up. Alright, here's Act 2. Well, looks like we can obstruct this and raise it. No, except you die if you do that. You die to the sunlight. Yes, that's what this is teaching you, this platform here, that it rises into the light. However, it does form a shadow bridge that allows you to cross over
Light. And they're watching.
and cross over in both the 3D world and the 2D world, which is very convenient of this device. However, yeah, you'll notice that there are some climbable platforms here, and that once I release, I will no longer be obstructing the switch, and so there will be a bit of a time segment here as I try to make my way across. Nope, we have to go back up and go quickly. Looks like we can totally go below to that lower level, though. I feel like that's worth checking. Let's check it. Too suspicious. Too suspicious not to check. Okay, Never mind. Our suspicions were incorrect. So much light.
What are you talking about?
No
There's
one here, apparently.
Have you been in this place before? Who's watching?
Okay, so we have another light platform. It's going to create another bridging segment. And as well as a block that we can manipulate. However... yeah, the block is only going to take us so far. Now, is it because I can't step further into the light? Yeah, because now we're able to push, lead a bit more of the bridge, and eventually, of course, I will myself need to get across. But that's okay, because if we drop out of the light, then everything... well, then I'll need to create the shadow bridge for myself some other way. Let's rethink this slightly. Yeah, because can I walk around this? No, not yet. However, we just dip across like this. It looks like I should have the means to do this by myself. Unless I have to rewind out of this one. I haven't actually had to rewind due to breaking a puzzle yet at this point in the game, but
Can you talk?
there is a first time for everything. And actually, this might be it, because the... actually, no, we did it. It's not something that you need to formally reverse out of, because you have the ability to climb back up. I guess the shadow... it doesn't quite let me across in the light world here, but... one thing we can do, of course, is get out of the way here so I can actually pull the block from the other side. That would be much more useful. The other thing, too, is we can also create a massive bridge. Which we'll need to do, because otherwise we will not be able to reach all the way across. There we go. Okay, this is an interesting segment over here. I would need to think about how to raise myself in this world, unless we're thinking about a shadow it casts, but... yeah, it looks like I need to raise that, and then just jump on top. Okay, fairly simple actually, it's just there to show you that that's going to be a safe location. Except, of course, I cannot jump. So we do need to do a bit of manipulation over here first. And then fall in. Watching you. Same idea over here, I think, that we will be pulling a piece. Then seeing what that does eventually. Actually, no, I just need to get on top of the block on the right side. Okay, that's done.
The people who watch, they don't play nice.
They don't.
What do you mean?
Guess not. Okay, a bit of a change of music here as we enter kind of the equivalent of a desert world. We look at this ruin. Did I wind up in a light? No, I didn't. Wouldn't actually let me cross over into that. Now, if you're afraid of the light, it seems like a desert biome is really not where you want to be. Even if it comes with some delightful percussion.
There's probably no one here. Don't worry.
And we can scout ahead a little bit. Looks like in these segments you pretty much just operate independently. Not much to see just yet, although I do wonder what I'm missing. Going to check down here, of course. No, nothing. I didn't want to come here. It's scary. They hide and stare and never talk to me. Okay, it looks like it's going to affect either the column to the left or the column on the right, or both. Let's see. Just the ones to the right, both of them. Yeah, it looks like there is an upper track that will occasionally, or eventually rather, have to cover up somehow for my shadow self. Currently, the idea will just be to move across to the pool of light on the right side. Now, I think releasing this one shouldn't put me into the light. It doesn't. Which is important because it means that eventually I should be able to get on top of one of those blocks. I see what's going on. You need to raise the block really quite high so the shadow is cast all the way. No, light source is coming from the left, coming from the west, as it were. That's okay. We'll just have to figure out how to manage that. Currently, nope. Yeah, I currently just have to pull this back probably and continue pulling it back on the way down. We know that actually this pool to the right is going to be safe. So in fact what we can do is pull onto... I want to say pull onto the second segment so we can walk on top of the block and drop into the other side and then start pushing it. That looks correct. And here's the thing, if we move it all the way to this segment here, then do we create the entire bridge? Yes, we don't. Doesn't quite get far enough. What happens is I do need to pull the block all the way over with me. But it really does look like if we change the direction of the light source, for instance, that previous position was going to be significant somehow. Oh, it's because we can actually continue to pull and push the block over to the other side. That's going to work out just fine. Because of the way that I can just stand on top. Transport myself over. And yeah, that's not going to do much, but we'll take it. Alright, not much else that I can see. There is that upper shadow on that upper pillar that makes me wonder if anything interesting is going on there, but currently not seeing anything else we can really interact with.
Don't you see them?
Who?
Somebody who's watching.
Hide and stare and never talk to me.
Those she fears made me grow, hiding all in the shadow. Alright, so this is going to manipulate some rising and falling switches once again. Let's head over there and see what we can do. Yeah, once again, if you stay on this side of the shadow, you can move these guys all you want. Including, like this. Which means that eventually I'll be able to get on top over here. Once again, I haven't really seen any of those cranes slash puzzle pieces in a while, which... Oh, whoops. Wrong character. Which is maybe a slight concern. At this point, let's release this. Looks as though I will need to get this piece on top of the center column. I think I should be able to just tug it from this side. And then we'll go around.
Whoever you think is watching,
Ignore
don't
them.
mind. They might mean well.
No, you can't. No, you don't see them.
The way they watch burns. It hurts. So she's afraid of something that comes out in the light. Sun creatures of some sort. Okay, more blocks. Looks like this can be obstructed. Yes, it can. Ah, now that's neat. That's a totally new mechanic. So that will bathe everything in shadow. Now what happens if I pull this out? Does it revert? It does not. Which is really important because possibly it means that we can do something here. Possibly it also means that I can use the block to sit on this switch. Yeah, it looks like that's going to lower the obstruction on the far side over here. Alright, pretty simple. Once again, feels like we're missing tons of puzzle pieces, but we'll see at the end of the game where we think that 100% is something that we want to do on the stream or want to leave for elsewhere. Really depends on how interesting it'll be as content. Anyway, I am able to cross all the way. Looks like, of course, that we do have something to collect on the other side. Ah, that's interesting that I do get pulled across like this. And indeed, if I take this block, I'll get pulled up, but I'll get squished. That's okay, because what's going to happen is that I'm going to go up like this. And then I'm going to take my shadow self and lower that switch on the bottom, which will create Let's actually stay on top of this thing. Nope. That's okay. Yeah, this is going to be timed, but that's fine. We can do it. We get tugged back here. And then we'll see if I can lower this all the way over. Looks like we have a somewhat stable position here. Yeah, there we go. And now on the lower level, we release. And that will not get me across, but if I lower this block, then things will be just fine. Because, once again, I can get, whoops, over to the upper level. And yeah, let's see here. I actually do need the block on the top side. Okay, so I need to find some way to revert the block over to the bottom while lowering the pillar such that I can load it up top. The way to do it is this. You use the block itself to block this. Then I cart my shadow self over to this side. Obstruct this, and then take the bottom. Fairly straightforward. I hide from the people, from their eyes. I feel safer with my friends in my room alone. Well,
You shouldn't fear them.
It's not like I want to. It's not like I want to.
well, eventually we'll coach you to face your fears. Mostly by way of collecting puzzle pieces. Alright, let's proceed.
I can't move on. Don't go too far.
I won't, I promise.
Okay, looks like we're going to have another segment where I just suddenly teleport my shadow self across after some story sequence. Look at these ziggurats here. Deep in the desert. Here's a swing motif once again. Into the road. And oh, here's lights. I guess I am going to be chased out by the light. It is, however, going to give my shadow somewhere to walk. And then now I'm stuck in the mire. Okay. So into another segment we go. Oh, it's an hourglass. Okay. Well, we're almost out of time. Apparently. Well, that was kind of a neat little transition. Alright, naturally we'll check the hourglass. Both sides. You never know. And there is nothing. Nothing but disappointment waits. I see the weakness so acutely, so sadly.
You need to give her time.
It condemns the past and praises the future. My evolution. Okay. Well.
It seems you're afraid of light. What does it mean to you? Isn't a fireplace soothing?
Well, new chapter, time for some introspection. And here's a fireplace, which is not at all soothing because watch this, it's totally going to burn the grate. Which means we're going to reverse because we want the little bonus over here. That's not going to happen to create burns unless, of course... Actually, let's watch the shadow animation to see if there's maybe a window of time in which you can stand on it. Oh, interesting. That's... Okay, if you burn the crate, it comes back up again, which is going to be important information because it means that we can switch over, stand on cross, and grab that.
You should pay attention to yourself.
Totally does look like SpongeBob, or the shadow of SpongeBob if you decide to set him on fire.
I told you not to wander off. Where are we now?
Oh wow, what a furnace.
I don't know, but I like it better here.
Really? It's so hot.
I wonder if there will be cake. Okay, you have this coal-fired furnace. Nothing to do down here just yet. Yeah, there are some significant segments in this game that are purely artistic or narrative, just to carry you forward through a bit of an interlude between puzzles, just to set the stage for whatever is to come. Okay, this will allow you to push your companion across. Notice that there is an opportunity here to dunk it in the fire. If you do dunk it in the fire, to reset points is probably just going to be back at the start. Let's just see if that's the case. Okay, if you stand on top of that, that does bring you into the light, so let's not do that. However, this is important because it does give me an opportunity to be pulling this from the other side, which I think will almost certainly be required. Yeah, because otherwise you just can't really get far enough while crossing over yourself. Okay, puzzle pieces up ahead. Let's keep that in mind.
I don't feel comfortable here.
Why?
Don't you feel it? That feeling inside of you.
Okay, looks like this is going to be a timed segment. And it alternates between who is available downstairs and who is available upstairs, so... And dash across. Not fast enough, let's wait for the next cycle. And also think about how I'm going to grab puzzle piece, probably. Either way, actually. The fire within. Inside. Can I go quickly enough? Nope. Next cycle. Let's just be ready. Press against the wall. Why would I set SpongeBob on fire? I'm pretty sure SpongeBob has been set on fire in the cartoon. Many times before, it seems like the answer, as always, is just because his expressions are so dynamic.
No,
It's worthwhile just to see
I
him
guess
react.
Someone has to keep the fire alive.
Alright, so let's play with some furnaces and some crates as well. Well, let's see what the switch does. That clonk sound from the cart over here. Let's see what this switch does. Moves the cart to the middle, okay. Fairly straightforward, I think. Now I get myself across. That will involve obstructing some of the light here, so... Now, the implication here is that I can pretty much take as many crates as I want. I don't know if I would want to, but... it is strongly implied. Now, that isn't quite enough to shade everything the way I need. Let me just see how the shadows are being cast, though. Yeah, no, I can just move around back. Alright, that worked out well enough.
I don't mind the heat.
Really?
The heat is nice. It's inside, so it's nice.
I feel like that's going to be a difficult compromise where you want to avoid light, but you do want heat.
The fire often falters. You should not.
There's a good central heating at night. That works well enough. Okay, this looks like it is purely timed platforming on the shadow side, so let's do it. Let's not do it that way. Let's wait for the next cycle. And down we go.
The heat is always unsteady. Don't you see the danger here? The sun was much safer.
Okay. Shadow prefers the sun.
The sun is outside. That's what burns, the outside.
I feel like thematically that there's a lot about this that was very much tailored for a video game audience that is liable to stay indoors. What did this switch even do? Let me see. Didn't actually affect anything that I could see. Alright, let's jump across and be mindful of this segment here in the middle to figure out how to actually get on across one of these. Let's follow the shadow, and then I want to drop down eventually over
You are
here.
so sure of yourself, aren't you?
Oh, I can drop into the middle here. I'm not sure what purpose that serves. It doesn't actually affect anything, except for giving me access to this switch over here, which seems very conspicuous. Ah, okay, it's a switching mechanism that allows you to change the pattern. Yeah, it changes the fork over here. I wonder if that was what was going on the other side as well. I didn't actually get a good look at it. But currently, I guess it just prevents anything from going up the top side. But more than that, I don't think it's doing much else for me here, so... Yeah, it might just be a bit of an anti-locking mechanism. Now that I look at it. Anyway. Why would the fire stop? Let's find out. Okay, I'll need to create some kind of passage for my 3D self. Probably need to do some kind of switch activation to make that happen, though. Although there's nothing going on here. Oh, I see. We can just follow this guy. And follow everything. Oh, whoops. Totally forgot that I was still standing on top of that. Okay, let's follow the timing here. Does not realize how fragile you are. Yeah, I guess I don't. Mistakes were made. Sure, yeah, let's check this area. I thought it was well worthwhile. Habits. Yeah, there's a way to... Whoa. How did I get dragged again? That was... Oh, I see, because I keep getting dragged by a platform sliding me over. Okay. No wonder that caught me by surprise twice now. Didn't realize that you would get loaded on top of that platform when you are at the same height. Anyway, let's move across. Same kind of exit as when you decide to just drop into this side directly.
Are you alright?
I'm really not used to this.
I would never let anything happen to my shadow, apparently.
Where are you going?
With the fire, my existence is trembling. Alright, more platforming. Let's see what's going on here. Shadows do follow you across, yeah, and that's totally something I expected that to be the case. And yeah, we'll have a nice big segment over there. I see another puzzle piece, of course, awaiting us on the other end. Then we'll just wrap around just a segment at a time and do both of these in any order, really.
It was easy. We've done this before.
Easy for you to say.
Wonder if the order ever matters in terms of the dialogue triggers, in terms of who's going on ahead. Anyway, we did get an opportunity to scout ahead over here. We'll just go in the bottom segment very soon.
Don't let dark thoughts smother you.
That's a very thorny situation up here. Oh, I guess we should have just dropped down below. Okay. Okay, up the girder we go. Maybe that mechanic will become important eventually, but right now it's just purely decorative. Actually, I kind of wonder if that did affect anything, but we can't really go back now, can we? Nope, nothing in the shadow world. Okay, up we go. 41 out of 98. Now, currently, I don't think we can actually get upstairs to that girder. We actually do need to sway it. That's why we were introduced to that mechanic just now, in fact. And we should remain in shadow. Yeah, I do need to watch the lighting. Notice the puzzle piece that is to my left in this segment. Now I can affect this either way. And in fact, once I pass the middle, I will have to do so. Probably by dropping on top of a crate and just circling around it. I can't quite see, yeah, the alignment of where I'm falling here. But that's going to work. Hang on. 3D depth perception here is maybe causing a
for yourself.
few minor issues. Now, what is this shading? Maybe it's just a way out. So this seems interesting. I don't see it affecting anything, though. Maybe, though, we can actually load it onto the belt. I'm kind of curious if we load the tall one on the belt. Actually, this could be interesting, because what may happen is that it will eventually cycle around in such a way that allows me to get on it from the right side. Let's actually watch this, see if... Oh no, the block just gets stuck, okay. Which is fine, because it means that it's going to obstruct everything, look at that. Obstructing everything, however, might actually get me a little bit stuck here. No, it just creates a passage. Creates a fantastic passage, in fact. All the way back over. And I sort of wonder if that's going to create anything useful on the way back. No, we are actually just out of crates. So never mind that. I suppose if I were still trapped on the other side, this would allow me to go back over the bridge, but I think at this point we've seen what there is to see in that location, so... Kinda wondered, if I drop down I think I'm just in the light. Yeah, that's what I thought, so... That's why that's not a strict lock there. Let's move on. And that is it for this segment here.
I fear the inside just as you fear the outside.
The outside can hurt you. It hurts me. The inside is safe.
The inside feels like a prison to me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you're indoors in the dark, you don't really get to be a shadow. Much less a shadow who enjoys the swing. Alright, this feels like it is somehow movable. It's going to lead somewhere interesting. For the meantime, though, we can just block some of this. Ah, yeah, I see, because eventually I'm sure we'll move the fence such that I can climb on top or on the bottom. Yeah, this raises that partially. Creates a shadow that allows me to walk across and dump things in the fire. So we'll have some kind of fire puzzle here. Let me just scan this area. Just where we came in. So yeah, about halfway done with the puzzle pieces so far. I wonder what that says for our overall pace through the game. I was expecting 2 sittings for this one, but we'll see how far we can get today. It does have an act structure. Perhaps once we finish Act 2, we'll take it that far today. But we'll determine that as we go. So yeah, this was formerly on a switch, wasn't it? Nope, that's just a spawn location. One thing that could be interesting is if I'm able to jump on top of this and then push it further. Nope, hang on. I should not have pushed myself that far, perhaps. Okay, that's interesting. It does mean that if I push a block that obstructs that location, I'm able to send myself over. I think the way to do it... Well, I'll have to think about this. Let's... Yeah, because we'll need some kind of tall block or tall stack. The way to get a tall stack is to burn one block while stacking it on top of the other one. And we can do that. I think I know exactly how to do that, in fact. But you have to do it once you've managed to pull her into that position, which right now is only going to happen if I push her over, and only going to happen if I block the lights. Which... yeah, not quite tall enough to do that. However, I can jump with her, so it means I can actually ride out the bottom block. Block the lower eye with the top block. Probably send her across this way. Once we have the opportunity to push this one spot over. Well. Hang on here. That's okay. This is still going to obstruct if we pull it back like this. Only that first eye, though. Yeah, that's going to get me across. So now that we're on the fence, we put one block on top of the other one and we toast the other one. We're almost certainly going to toast that one. Assuming that I can get across, which if I pull into this position, I should be able to. As expected.
Good thinking.
Good thinking. And we'll proceed. Alright, that's pretty much all we'll be seeing in this zone here, so let's just continue this way. It's going to be fine, no one's watching.
It's going to be fine. No one's watching.
Well, given all the spikiness here, I kind of wonder if that's actually our concern. Looks very, very deadly on... oh.
Move, I'll fix this.
Yeah. 3D Self seems maybe excessively confident in her abilities. That's okay. At least she's trying. Yeah. Like I was saying, it's not always clear to me when mechanics will move with me. I do see that bonus location on the other side over there, but we'll...
Are you alright?
I can't move.
you can move a little bit, but... oh, this looks absolutely deadly.
can you do this?
Wonder if I just need to do a little bit of a jump here.
Useless.
Come on.
Yeah, it looks like I'll just need to create an additional location to walk to over here and lead everything across.
Breathe.
Touch that.
Calm down.
It's not really nearly as threatening as it looks. Everything is pretty safe, in fact.
Are you better?
I think my shadow is terrified. I get the sense that she is.
I can't stand the idea of her seeing me powerless like that. Why is she still keeping up?
I think the shadow
She's
is
not the
actually
one
trying
moving
to
things forward. You are. And you are
escape
the one who
me.
should keep up.
Well, I mean, keeping up is just a matter of who I choose to take the lead here. But
Can you go on?
I don't know if my shadow particularly wants me here. I'm just mainly trying to
Please feel better.
escape on her own where
I
possible.
don't want to stay alone here.
You won't have to. I will not let it get to me again.
Yeah, you're just going to scan all around here. And nothing yet. Let's proceed, though. Try harder.
You're still afraid of light. What does it mean to you? Don't you need a nightlight to guide you in your
I
dreams?
feel like the therapist is repeating himself. I'd like to guide you. You can't quite go over here. It's too thin. The switch does something that I can't quite see yet. Affects the lights on the right side. That's going to get my shadow self all the way across. This thing here... Ah, okay, it's going to be something timed. That's fine, I just need to hit that and then switch right away. And just follow. Can't manipulate the switch myself when it's elevated. I feel like if I touch this again, then I can drag back with me. Which is going to be important because it will eventually be able to dump that on this thing here. And I'll need to follow the shadow on the top side now. Okay, pretty straightforward. Once we figure out how to get that object on the other side. Oh, okay, no, I actually don't want that yet then, because I don't want to illuminate that until I've had a chance to pull things out. I think I'll actually pull the block out from the bottom side. In fact, let's do this the way I prefer. I don't think it actually makes too much of a difference here. But yeah, we'll pull back slightly. And then cut across, collect that, and come back.
Are you afraid of the storm?
You
Can you do
really
this?
do this. Yes. Yes, we can. Okay, same deal. No, I was intending to go on the bottom side. That's okay, no, we can just pull this. Does not make a difference after all. across. Alright, this will be interesting. We have a climbing segment, but I will need to remove the obstruction. Though, once again, I need to think about how to traverse the shadows. Yeah, if I move the light down here, we can do that.
Straight ahead. Don't mind her.
She just helped me. Didn't you see that? I won't leave her.
Yeah, it seems like the therapist has just been conversing with my shadow self all this time. Maybe my shadow self is more cooperative than we might have initially thought. Now, can I drag the pool high enough to reach that? Probably not. Let's lower this first. Oh, whoops. Let's aim properly. Then lower this.
I just helped her. Didn't you see that?
I feel like my 3D self can actually hear that the therapist and the shadow are scheming, or at least the therapist is attempting to scheme and the shadow is having none of it. Alright, so we need to create some way across for my shadow self now. Not sure if it's going to be by way of this machinery or something else, but we'll check around just to see. Possibly something with this generator? No. No, I think I will just need to solve this. I see. Drag the light over. Very high potential for something hidden here, I think, but no, we know where the shadows are. An object up there, we'll keep that in mind as we attempt to grab that as well. Okay, fairly simple, in fact.
Breathe. It was not your
Yeah, sometimes the
fault.
puzzle pieces aren't really there as a challenge, but rather just to teach you the mechanics. In a very gentle fashion. The way we'll do this is by dragging. And then, oh, no, I can't get across now. Okay, it looks like I can probably step across this side first. And go around like this. Now that I've raised it, I can jump across. And we'll rethink what we could do with this block. Actually, I can probably just raise this directly once I created the opportunity to do so, except... yeah, she's gonna get pushed, I think, if we do that, so... let's jump across first, then do the push, then get across, release, then... yeah, a little bit trapped in this position right now, but if I raise this, I can just get on top of the block directly. Looking ahead, of course, to the next puzzle piece that's going to come towards us very soon, so... I think at this point I drop in the left side here. Lower this. I need to raise it on the right side. And yeah, then we get the block back in position. Once my shadow has been elevated. No, let's get her on the block. Nope. Need to kind of stand in the middle, actually, so she doesn't get dragged. Either that or she needs to jump immediately. There we go.
Failure is fine.
Maybe.
I disagree. Right, let's move on. Drag the pool of light with me as we run into another mechanism up ahead. Looks like this can be raised and lowered. We'll naturally take it. Feel like that has potential to be interesting, so maybe not. Wonder what's being constructed here. Anyway, let's check this location.
If you could put more effort in.
No. Stop talking. You were more helpful when you were silent.
That I can agree with. I think he actually was more helpful when it was silent. Occasionally I can't quite tell who the presumed psychiatrist is talking to unless I hear who responds. Seems like he's occasionally just trying to have a bit of a private word with either the shadow self or the 3D self. Yeah, why didn't I consider just doing a wall jump? That was a much better idea. Alright, one more segment here. Oh, there's something.
Don't let dark thoughts smother you.
So, for example, my 3D self just responded to that, but the issue is that my 3D self has no issue with being smothered in darkness. That's entirely a threat to the shadow. But let's maybe not think too hard about that. So, I think each of these, as you activate them, they will raise, which is important because we'll find some kind of pattern eventually that will allow me to raise my shadow self onto that final collectible. Now, when we can do it is by dragging from this side. But yeah, there's going to be a series of constraints here. I feel like if I am on the right side, then I can just keep dragging. But then, by the time I get to the end, well, I can't get off the switch right now. Let's think about the sequence here. Maybe I did need to push from the left. If I push from the left, then I can activate switches 3 and 5 instead. And so, yeah, let's redo this perhaps. Okay, let's redo this. And let's approach from the left. The problem with approaching from the left is that I will get crushed. we need to rethink this slightly. Yeah, but I need activation of number 3 and 5. I feel like I should get around first. And then I can pull back from this side. But now you have some issues with the obstruction, so... The idea will be to maybe get on the left. Maybe on the left of this block. Yeah, I need to trap myself like that. Let's think about this one for a moment. Yeah, I can see what kind of end state I want. I definitely want myself on one of these and a shadow on the other, but if I have this, I'm controllable. And then I raise this, yeah. Just needed to change the order slightly. Okay, that's all set.
Try to take your...
Blah, blah.
I like her already.
Breathe. Calm down.
No! Leave us alone!
Does not respond well to therapy. Okay, I need to get my 3D self across first. Let's just do that. Since we're being tracked. "53 out of 98, so... Regardless of how thorough or not we have been so far, it looks like we are over the halfway point.
It's impressive you could tell them off. A little thing like you.
Yeah, it was fun.
It might not have been the wisest idea, though. They just want to help.
Okay, so... let me check once again what the lighting pattern is here, just to... see. Okay, so I can actually stand behind the crates. And I have enough time to reposition myself if I do that. Whenever I choose to release. That's going to be important to know. Because it means I can move the crate left by 1 spot. Eventually 2 spots. And still have time to walk around like that. Might as well check around. Just a notice to calm down. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything here, but we'll just head down. I do need to give myself the opportunity to escape here in the 3D world, so let's just do that. And hit the next ending point. Right here.
I don't like them.
And... oh, here's the next endpoint right here, which kind of tells me we have a slightly more involved one-room puzzle to deal with here, where we light everything up. And also need to move this in advance. Yeah, okay, Shadow is going to be just fine in terms of giving me plenty to work with here. Currently don't know what that switch is doing. We'll need to find out. Sort of by trial and error. Oh wow, okay. Let's... no, I can't get off of this, but what I can do is raise this right away. And across I go. Then I just need to move this off of the switch, I think, and while stepping on it myself. No, I can't. Alright, I do need to get out of this position then. Possibly by taking this and jumping over. And then that will allow me to push this out of the way. Let go. No, not yet. Let's actually mind my position upstairs. Yeah, occasionally just sort of inconsiderately forgetting about my partner and where she's standing.
They've decided to leave us alone.
No, I haven't.
Well, too bad.
Yeah, looks like the narrator is really kind of antagonizing us here. Okay, we've got a couple of different light pools here that we can grab. This is temporarily
Stop resisting.
shrouded in darkness.
Listen.
We can do all of these eventually. These are actually fairly easy nodes to pick up, so we'll just do that. And we have another iteration of the swing tree here. That's important. Now, these are not blinking off anymore. I wonder if... no, it's just timed. It's not positional.
Try harder. Calm down. Pay attention.
Quite a bit of loot. A lot of advice that we're just not going to listen to. I'm sure we'll unite at the end in some way that allows us to enjoy the swing together. I think that's what I imagined the ending looking like. Both my shadow and I back in sync and just swinging together. Just like we must have done in some distant past. These shadows look interesting in that I feel like if I can get up to this location and up to the plug, maybe it's something. For the time being, though, it doesn't look like I can interact with very much here. The timing pattern around a tree doesn't seem to be opening anything up for me on the shadow side.
You want so much and you never ask nicely. It's just order after order.
Okay.
Maybe they just want us to get better. Maybe we should keep trying.
I think in general she's just having a very negative experience with therapy. Alright, same idea as before. We can probably pull my shadow out over here, then transfer over to the other side and pull her back in. Push her back in. I think we're familiar with this idea by now. Yeah, the musical score just kind of continuously escalates. It's just been one lengthy, contiguous piece that's been developing since the start.
Speak as if everything they say is true.
I like to think of this as a bit of an OR gate, I guess, where you have a 0 and you have a 1 and it evaluates to true. Okay. Block this, we have more puzzle pieces that are totally trivial to obtain.
Fear who?
Let's scrub this a bit. No, I'm still a little bit out of position. Can't actually see my depth here, so I think it's down in the middle. Nope, I actually can't. Oh, I see, because I was in the shadow side. Hang on. I feel like we're going to be here a while. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really see where I am in 3D space. Whether I'm undershooting or overshooting. Let's hit the switch in the middle, maybe. That'll add some insight here. No, I don't think it will, actually. Let's see if I can just figure out my depth. Okay. Does require a little bit of coordination. Here we go. Not orders, just advice. I don't think this advice is valued necessarily, but all right. Let's close out this segment here.
Sometimes I feel I should just...
Well, these puzzle pieces are coming in pretty quickly. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I see. When the lamp is on, that illuminates too much of this, and then the collectible little bird disappears. This is true of each one of these segments, in fact.
I need some calm.
Okay, so what we'll do is find some way to position myself to the right of everything and then scroll back to the left. The way we'll do it is this.
I need some time.
Oh, whoops. Totally did not think that through. Partly because I didn't know what that switch was doing to begin with, actually. I mean, I don't think I actually could have predicted that. Oh, unless I was watching the lamps, because the lamps are in 3 different positions. This position, that position. I was not actually thinking about the lamps at all, so...
You need some help.
No, you need some time. What else do you think I need?
Stop pretending you know the way. Hear me out.
The guy just won't let us solve the puzzles. Okay, let's cut some of these circuits. You can kind of see this very faintly. Yeah, I see what's going on. That's because of the placement of the lamp, nothing actually obstructs. Which makes me wonder how we're going to get this one here if we don't actually... Oh, you know what? Because the lamp is on a track that can be pulled. So we just need to pull the lamp. No, no, it's not. Never mind. Well, let's see here. I feel like one thing we can do is just push.
I need some help.
And we got it, yeah.
Listen to me. I understand I'm pressing you. But you need to listen if you really want to go forward with this.
I feel like they're being consulted on some kind of permanent and possibly schizophrenic procedure. Like the shadow wants some kind of permanent separation. Anyway, we rotated that and I'm able to go forward, but if I lower it, I wonder if this gets me anywhere interesting. I feel like it must. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, more puzzle
cannot
pieces
do
coming
this on
in
your own.
hot.
You need all the help you can get.
But what if I don't want it?
Yeah, very resistant to treatment.
You need to try harder.
I think we're doing just fine, to be honest. Okay, let's exit out this spot here. Looks like we will have a segment where we're going to be tracked by the lamp. And so we'll just do that and be attentive to whatever the light is going to reveal in this segment here. Yeah, of course we can see where the shadows are being cast if we're particularly careful. Whoops.
Trust me, it might seem difficult, but listening will help.
Listening helped. But she helped too. She was the one who really, really helped.
I just want to give you advice. I want to get you out of here. And if you wish to get out, if you really wish to get out and not wander around being afraid of every single thing you see or feel, then you need to go on and listen.
Yeah, I feel like eventually as we go on, this is going to reveal the nature of the actual therapeutic situation that is kind of being cast into metaphor and puzzles here. It's reflective of some kind of external conversation that may or may not be interesting. Right now, of course, it's just sort of being deliberately vague about some things before we eventually reveal what's going on. Okay, that's going to give me access to... Nope, not yet. Need to deactivate some of this electricity, which I think will probably take the form of blocking the upper segment. What would do that is... Yeah, so we do need to block both. Pretty simple, in fact, if we just push further. Nope. Actually, no, just open the way. Nope, didn't think this through. Just have to do it. No, didn't think that through either. Do need some way to block both lamps. It looks like we can't actually push objects onto that end. What I can do though is see, blocking one thing just allows you to go through, and blocking the other piece afterwards allows me to get through. So the way we should probably approach this is by giving you some kind of platform that's a little more approachable. Like we can get across the electric gate first. Electric gate's going to be controlled by the upper switch. However, once here, we need some way to manipulate everything else. Feels like one way we can go about doing this is just by opening this up, moving around to either side. I feel like the way that it has to be done is by getting myself onto the top level. Yeah, if I can get on top of this platform here. In fact, if I just block this center piece now, I can jump on top of the right side. Yeah, let's move this back. Here, move over. And I want to be able to, whoops, jump on top of this guy. If I can. I think that's a bit of a long reach. That's not going to be it. Let's think about the end condition here, that I need to get my 3D self over to the right side of the electric gate first, and then I need to manipulate something in such a way that allows me to cross over. Right now, the only way I can think about doing that is to raise my shadow self over to the right side of this platform. And get her up to the top layer. Yeah, failing that. Oh, whoops. No, hang on. Yeah, we can't have my shadow blocking that when the block is on top. No, whoops. No, let's not do that. Do we have this kind of partial block like this? No, that's still going to run into issues, unfortunately. Yeah, let's retake this, because right now I'm thinking that the idea should be to get the shadow on top of the block. But I don't see a jump distance that will make that happen. Whoops, just yet. That's one thing that can happen. That you, once again, can't double up like that. But if I can figure out a way to shrink this by enough to make it so that I can jump over. That should be the way. Yeah, rather large fragment over there. Let's see what else I can manipulate. I really feel as though the most promising thing is just to maybe stand in front myself. No? Yeah, that's going to remain lit. One thing I'm perhaps not considering is running around this way and seeing if I can manipulate anything else. Let's not take the exit just yet. We do need to figure this out. Okay, I can't jump on top of that. Well, let's recreate the platform quickly. So we know how to get her over to that side. We know how to light this up. A double like that. Probably need some kind of push interaction like that. That gets her securely out of the way. So for example, you do this, and then if you push, there you go. You make observations. Yes, you do.
We're better off without you.
You will not be able to hear me if you don't want to.
71 out of 98. This is picking up quickly.
I'm not sure we should do that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. Sudden influx of collectibles.
You know, I've never gone this far before. Maybe they were kind of right.
I know.
I guess I don't really know this place. It was bad to pretend I did. But I'd rather be alone with you than with them.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's nice. Now we're completely lost, though.
Can I pull this back up? No, because once you close the circuit, that's pretty much it for this. No more pushing. Anyway, she's stuck.
I'm sorry.
Okay, looks like once again we have a boat. That's just going to require me to control my shadow self separately. Let's make sure we get on top quickly enough. Take the top segments. Because I'm sure that's where the good stuff is going to be. Whoops. Okay. I feel like maybe I'm too slow here. Let's try to do this one more time just to get ahead of pace a little bit, and then yeah, because previously I think I just didn't buy enough time to get up on top here. And that little top slot right here, I feel like it is doable. That we'll get something good from it. Like a puzzle piece. Oh, there we go. And white noise awaits us. Oh, didn't expect that. Let's ride a boat.
We're lost, and you might have driven away our only help.
They were mean.
Act 3, Rebirth.
It was probably my fault everything broke in the first place. And now it's your fault that we're lost.
Okay, so at this juncture, since we're in Act 3, I'm gonna make a... Well, I'm gonna activate this first of all to mark that we're
My
through this.
They were mean. They keep ordering us around and it's my fault.
Not really.
Okay, 72 out of 98. At this juncture, I'm going to make a decision as to whether we will cut off for today or whether I'm going to continue in a second session tomorrow, which, given our progress, might just be a short one. But let's take a look at perhaps how we're doing for collectibles so far, in case we want to do a sweep for 100% after the fact. So let's just take a look at how we're doing. So we got everything but one piece here, everything but one piece here. Let's see how we're doing. And yeah, so it doesn't indicate where you're missing a piece, but it does tell you which chapter to look in. Likewise here. Or not. Hang on. Oh yeah, because next one. 9 out of 9. 28 out of 29. This might be a fair bit of retreading if we want to sweep for the last piece. Especially with the sudden influx of pieces that we got all at once. So, we're actually reasonably close on pace for 100%. I do see that there are 2 acts remaining, Act 3 and Act 4, so I think, given that we're kind of plot-wise at around a halfway point, we will, in fact, leave the rest. But, yeah, we will begin with Act 3 here in tomorrow's stream, same time slot. So, thank you for joining me for this today, and hopefully this was reasonably entertaining. I know Meng is the only viewer that has been sticking with us throughout the whole thing. You have also played this before, but hope that was fun to watch regardless. So in the meantime, we'll see how long it takes to get through the rest of this tomorrow, and if there is time remaining, we'll either do a 100% sweep, if it looks interesting, or perhaps switch to some other puzzle content. But so far, proceeding at a nice clip in a pretty interesting and perhaps somewhat therapeutic experience so far. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you off until the next stream. And have a good morning and a good day to come. Fare thee well.